Do you remember that magical feeling when you were a kid and climbed a tree? The world down below seemed small, problems disappeared, and for a moment you were the king of your own castle. Most of us grow up and forget that feeling, trading the freedom of heights for closed offices, fresh air for air conditioning, and sunlight for computer screens. Adult life has a curious way of making us forget what truly makes us smile. But what if you could go back to being a kid, only now with the tools, skills, and strength of an adult? Today, you are going to follow a journey that is the dream of many. Two friends who decided they wouldn't just dream. They grabbed their tools, put their phones on airplane mode, and went into the forest with a single goal: to build the ultimate secret hideout. Not to run away from monsters or threats, but to escape the ceaseless noise of the modern world and create something incredible with their own hands. When you enter the forest with a goal like this, the first thing that changes almost instantly is your perception of time. In the city, time is money. Here, time is life. The noise of traffic and notifications is left behind and replaced by the sound of wind in the leaves, the distant singing of birds, and the crunch of our steps on the dry earth. This transition isn't just physical, it's mental. You feel your shoulders relax, your breathing becomes deeper. The search for the ideal spot to build isn't a quick task. It's not like choosing a plot of land from a catalog. It is a silent conversation with nature. You need to walk, look up, and test the firmness of the ground. Finding the perfect tree is like finding an old friend. You feel an immediate connection. It needs to be welcoming, strong enough to support dreams and timber, and hidden enough to guarantee the peace we came looking for. The process of carrying materials into the heart of the woods is the first great test of determination. There are no delivery trucks here. Every board, every tool, every nail needs to be carried by the strength of your own legs and back. And you know what? There is a raw beauty in that. The weight on your shoulders reminds us that we are alive, that we are capable of real physical effort. Unlike the mental fatigue of a stressful day at the office, which drains our soul, the physical fatigue of the forest is rewarding. It's what we call good tired, the kind that makes you sit on the ground, take a sip of water, and feel like you earned that rest. Have you ever felt the difference between being exhausted from problems and being exhausted from building something? It's a completely different sensation. When construction really begins, the forest becomes a job site unlike any other. There are no urgent deadlines, no bosses yelling. There is only the natural rhythm of work. The sound of hand tools blends with the symphony of the woods. Sawing wood by hand, for example, is almost a meditation. The back and forth movement, the smell of fresh sawdust rising in the air, the rough texture of tree bark against your hands. All of this connects us to the present moment in a way we rarely achieve in our daily lives. Wood is a noble, living material. It has personality. You need to respect the knots, the curves, the imperfections. Trying to force the wood is a mistake. You need to work with it. This lesson in patience is something carpentry in nature teaches you quickly. Friendship plays a fundamental role in this adventure. Building something of this magnitude alone would be possible, but lonely. With a friend, the work is divided and the joy is multiplied. There is a silent language between two people who have worked together for a long time. A look says, "Hold this." A gesture says, "I need the hammer." You don't need to say much. The confidence that the other person is holding the ladder or that the knot was tied well creates a strong bond. In a world where connections are increasingly digital and superficial, having someone you can count on to lift a heavy beam is a treasure. How often do you stop to think about the quality of the connections you have today? Primitive cooperation, real teamwork is something that is in our human essence.
As the structure begins to rise, perspective literally changes. The ground moves away. The canopy of the trees, which was once a distant ceiling, is now within reach. Being up high awakens something instinctive in us. Our ancestors climbed trees for safety and observation, and that instinct still lives in our DNA. The view from up there transforms everything. The world seems more organized, calmer. The problems that looked like mountains down below seen from above, look like small hills. The treehouse begins to take shape, not just as a wooden structure, but as a sanctuary, a place where society's rules don't apply, where the only law is gravity and common sense. But don't think it's all smooth sailing. Nature imposes its challenges. The weather can change in minutes. A sudden rain tests our preparation and our patience. The wind can sway the tree, reminding us that we're just visitors in its home. Curious insects show up to inspect the work, but every small obstacle overcome, whether it's covering the material quickly before the storm or improvising a solution for a piece that broke, adds a layer of pride to the project. The ability to solve problems with what you have on hand is a skill we are losing. Here, you can't run to the hardware store. If something's missing, you create, adapt, invent. This forced creativity is incredibly stimulating for the brain. Then there are the pauses. The pauses in the forest. They have a special flavor. The moment you stop for lunch, sitting on a fallen log or on the half-finished structure. Simple food cooked over a fire or brought in a backpack tastes better than any luxury restaurant. Freshly brewed coffee, with the smell mixing with the aroma of damp earth and green leaves, warms not just the body, but the spirit. In these moments, conversation flows easily. You talk about life, dreams, the past, or often nothing is said at all. You just observe. A squirrel jumping from branch to branch, sunlight filtering through the leaves, creating patterns on the ground, the movement of the clouds. The ability to just be, without feeling the need to do, is true freedom. As the walls close in and the roof is placed, the feeling of home begins to emerge. It is fascinating how a few boards and nails can create such a strong feeling of protection. The interior of the treehouse is a universe apart. The smell of cut wood is the room's perfume. Light enters through the cracks in improvised windows, creating a welcoming play of shadows. Decorating this space is the final part of the game, not with expensive furniture, but with items that bring comfort. A rug, some cushions, an oil lantern. Every object there has a purpose and a story. It is a forced minimalism that makes us question how much space and how many things do we really need to be happy. A night in the treehouse is an experience everyone should have at least once in their life. When the sun sets, the forest changes. The daytime birds go silent and the night shift begins. Crickets, owls, the wind and the leaves. The darkness is total, broken only by the soft light of our lantern or a small controlled fire. Up there, safe and warm, the feeling is like being in a cocoon. Far from everything, close to what matters. It is a moment of deep reflection. Looking at the stars through the window or from the balcony, you realize the vastness of the universe and the simplicity of our existence. It is a moment of gratitude. Gratitude for health, for friendship, for the opportunity to live this adventure.
Reaching the end of the project brings a mix of joy and melancholy. The joy of seeing the work finished, firm, beautiful in its rusticity, and the melancholy of knowing that the best part, the building process, is over. The house is there. It now exists in the real world, no longer just in the imagination. It is a legacy, a place to return to on weekends, a place to take the kids, or just a secret kept between friends. Looking back and seeing that cabin camouflaged among the leaves is physical proof that with will and effort, we can shape our reality. This journey teaches us that happiness isn't something you buy ready-made in a box. Happiness is built, board by board, moment by moment. It resides in simplicity, in connection with nature, and in the satisfaction of creating. We don't need millions of dollars or futuristic technologies to feel whole. We need purpose. We need to get our hands dirty. We need to disconnect, to reconnect. And you, what is the project that is sleeping inside you? That idea you always leave for when you have time. Maybe it's not building a treehouse. Maybe it's learning to play an instrument, writing a book,
restoring an old piece of furniture, or starting a garden in the backyard. The lesson these two friends leave us is universal. The perfect moment will never arrive if you just sit and wait. The perfect moment is created when you decide to start. As the image of the forest lingers in their mind, think of your own forest. Where is your refuge? Where do you feel truly yourself? Life goes by too fast to live only fulfilling obligations. Allow yourself to have a hobby that has nothing to do with money or productivity, but has everything to do with passion. I hope watching this construction has lit a spark in you. Nature is out there, patient and grand, waiting for those who have the courage to trade the comfort of the couch for the adventure of creation. What would you build if you weren't afraid of making mistakes? Take a deep breath, look around, and remember, the great adventure of life is made of these choices. Stay curious, stay active, and never stop building your dreams. Until the next one.
Second